Coming in at number 10, we have Handy Manny interrupted by porn. Early on a weekday morning in May 2007, kids in New Jersey, USA were eating their breakfast and watching a Disney Channel show, Handy Manny. Unfortunately, instead of seeing their favorite tool-wielding handyman, they saw, a tool-wielding handyman, but not a very kid-friendly one. Where is he putting that tool? It's the question. That's right, the broadcast was interrupted by hardcore pornography, which must have been pretty terrifying for the kids, but more so for the parents who found their kids watching it. Comcast, the cable network that Handy Manny was airing on, apologized but never commented on how the interference came to be or who was behind it.
The video is so graphic we can't show it. And it goes on for almost 6 straight minutes.
Coming in at number 9, we have Anderson Cooper destroys Blagojevich. Here's the thing, we know that many politicians are slimy and try and do whatever they can to try and slip away with all their dirty deeds. Sometimes this is so blatant that it can make you sick to your stomach. In this interview with Blagojevich, who's been convicted of taking bribes, tell Anderson Cooper that he's a political prisoner similar to Nelson Mandela.
You had a jury convict you. You had appeals courts look at your sentencing, and you even appealed to the Supreme Court twice.
Anderson Cooper isn't having any of this, but Blagojevich continues to try and push the idea that he's some sort of victim, that just his sentencing is similar to the way that black people in South Africa were treated during apartheid. Anderson Cooper informs him that he's actually guilty and nowhere close to being a political prisoner, and then we get this clip.
And you refuse to do that, and you're creating a whole new alternate universe of facts, and that may be big in politics today, but it's still, frankly, just bullshit.
I love that Anderson Cooper won't let this guy budge for a second. I mean, he didn't go to prison, so was justice really served? I don't think so. But some more people get to see how slimy this governor is, and hopefully down the road when people get savvy to what kind of criminal he is, he will get his justice. And guys, don't forget to hit that like button because it really helps us out a lot.
Coming into number 8, we have Captain Midnight's protest. In 1986, a disgruntled electrical engineer named John McDougall was seriously peed at HBO for their high subscription prices. At the time it was around $12.95 a month, which is about $30 today. McDougall called himself Captain Midnight and threatened to hijack stations periodically, targeting Showtime next. Coming into number 7, we have the Wyoming incident. In 2008, it is said that a local news network in Wyoming was broadcasting some coverage of the general election. However, the broadcast was interrupted by black and grey stripes with text reading, "You will see such pretty things." This was followed by clips of disembodied human heads. Apparently, the pirate broadcast was shown at such a high frequency that it made some viewers vomit. Now, you can read a lot about the Wyoming incident on a creepypasta site or urban legend sites. However, I've been unable to find an official news source. This leads me to believe that it is just that, an urban legend. Coming into number 6, we have aliens on Southern television. On November the 26th, 1977, a scary alien voice interrupted a British TV broadcast at 5:10 in the afternoon on ITV. Hijacking the Hannington transmitter, a scary speaker interrupted transmissions for 6 whole minutes. Now, they claimed to be an alien called Virillan from the Intergalactic Association. With a distorted voice, Virillan said that all weapons of mass evil must be removed. He warned that humanity has a short time to learn to live together in peace. The voice implored humanity to remain peaceful so that we could be part of the Great Awakening of the Age of Aquarius. The hijack was vocal only, and later ITV called the hijacker breakthrough in sound. The identity of the hijacker has never been found. Perhaps it was aliens warning us. Coming into number 5, we have an atomic bomb. On a Sunday morning Czech TV show Panorama, viewers were convinced that the Prague countryside was being bombed. The show is intended to attract tourists and generally shows live footage of idyllic landscapes. On the 17th of June 2007, the signal was cleverly hijacked. What looked like scenes from the usual show broadcast an atomic bomb being detonated over the land. This sent viewers into an absolute panic. Now, government officials were even concerned that Prague was being bombed. It turned out it was an elaborate hoax, but it took a few minutes to realize that. The hoax was actually a performance piece from a group called Zetoven. Coming Coming into number 4, we have news of the zombie apocalypse. In 2013, TV viewers in Montana were stunned when Steve Wilkos' show on KRTV was interrupted by hackers. Pranksters interrupted the show to warn of a zombie apocalypse, saying that bodies of the dead were rising from their graves. They stated that updates would be posted as soon as new information became available. The mayhem happened amid an episode of Wilkos' show about teen cheaters taking a lie detector test. Now, the hack was a voiceover only and warned viewers not to approach the zombies as they're extremely dangerous. Immediately after the hack was taken down, KPTV released a statement. They said the situation was under control and yes, it was just a hack.
Have reported that the bodies of the dead are rising from their graves and attacking the living. Follow the messages on screen that will be updated as information becomes available.
Coming into number 3, we have the first of Max Headroom's appearances. On November the 22nd, 1987, the Chicago 9 o'clock news was interrupted on WGN-TV. Instead of host Dan Ronan discussing the Bears' victory over the Detroit Lions, the audience got a man in a mock news reporter suit wearing a creepy Max Headroom mask with sunglasses and a frozen grin. All audiences could hear was static. All they could see was the maniac moving around as if he was being spanked. Now, it appears the TV signal was hijacked for 30 seconds. When the signal finally made it back to the studio, Ronan nervously laughed. Well, if you're wondering what happened, so am I. On this day, the creepy intruder became an icon. Now we're building on this at number 2. That's right, coming in at number 2, we have the first time that Max Headroom speaks. Later, the same hijacker interrupted an episode of Doctor Who for around 90 seconds. In the secondary hijack, the plot thickened even further. This man got even creepier. The first hijack had no audio, but the second was a rant. The creepy hijacker spouted about Coca-Cola, Chuck Swirsky, and a dirty glove. After some weird lunging at the camera and head swishing and singing, the hijacker's bare bottom is spanked by an off-camera French maid. Making the whole saga even weirder, over 30 years later, we still have no idea who is responsible for the hijacking. Finally, most terrifying of all, because the threats were actually founded in reality, we have a very real declaration of war. In July 2006, Lebanese fighters fired shots over the Israeli border. This led to a 34-day war in which Israel retaliated hard. Israeli hackers took control of the Islamic Lebanese political party Hezbollah's TV station. They sent out a very chilling message of war. The hijacked signals started showing images of dead Hezbollah guerrilla soldiers. An image of the political party leader Hassan Nasrallah was then shown, along with the sound of gunshots and a voice saying, "Your day is coming."
Starting us off at number 10, Dark Watchers. So Dark Watchers are humanoid beings ranging from 7 to 15 feet tall. They are cloaked figures, sometimes with wide-brimmed hats that have been reported to melt and merge with shadows. If you spot one, they can disappear within the blink of an eye. They are mainly spotted in California. The earliest sightings are by the native Chumash tribe, whose oral history of the Old Ones goes back centuries. The Old Ones are said to observe from a distance. As recently as 2018, a man said he encountered one. He was hiking up a remote trail and came upon a dark figure. He waved as a joke, not thinking it was a person, and it waved back. Then, he thought he might just be tripping out or something, so he took a puff of his cigarette, and then the figure blew out a plume of smoke as well. And if that wasn't trippy enough, it started flowing, and nearly floating vertically, so the man ran back to his car. If you ever encounter one, don't be too wary. They're not known to harm anyone as long as they're not disturbed, so just keep on your merry way and you should be fine.
Coming into number 9, we have a scary old couple conspiracy. In July 2007, ABC affiliate WJLA had their signal interrupted and something weird flashed up on the screen. It was a spooky picture and a grainy image of two elderly people. There was no sound involved, just the image. Creepy, but not that bad, right? Sure. However, the plot thickens. The cable company brushed over it, saying it was a programming mix-up from an earlier Oprah show. Okay, fine, so then why were all the video clips of the hijacking removed from YouTube immediately after? A lot of people think that the network was covering up for something way more sinister.
On to number 8, the Wampus Beast. So this cryptid is also known as a Wampus cat. It is a jet black panther cat creature with glowing eyes. It's mainly seen in Appalachia. So Cherokee folklore says it was a woman wearing hides to spy on her husband, but guards caught her and cast spells on her. This caused the hide she was wearing to form onto her. One rumor says that the Wampus Beast lives in sewers. But anyways, one story goes that a 9-year-old boy saw this beast late at night. His parents told him to get something from the shed. He went out and came face to face with a jet black panther-like creature with glowing eyes, just as we described. The creature gave a weird high-pitched hissing-like sound, which then frightened the boy to go back inside to his house. Then, years later, on the same farm, the boy had another encounter with the beast. He lost a lot of pigs to the beast, but he did escape the encounter with his life. Number 7. Gargoyle. So, you might be familiar because the term gargoyle is used in architecture, but it is also a term to describe cryptids that resemble the gargoyles we see in architecture. They are described as roughly humanoid monsters with leathery bat-like wings. They resemble the popular conceptions of demons pretty much. So a popular example of a gargoyle is the Gargoyle of Glastonbury. This gargoyle supposedly haunts researchers who try to learn too much about King Arthur. But there isn't just one gargoyle out there. One person in the States claimed to see one fly over their car. Their mom was driving and they thought they were the only one to see it, but their mom looked at them, pale as a sheet, and said, "Did you see that?" They described it as a thin, bony, lanky gray thing that was illuminated, coated in like a soft light. They said it kinda looked like a huge, starving, human-esque bat creature, and all in all, I'm just rethinking everything about the Hunchback of Notre Dame right now. Those gargoyles? What if it's based off something real? All I'm saying. So some people said the possible gargoyle the last person described sounded a little bit like Mothman. So that brings us to number 6, Mothman. If you haven't heard, the Mothman is described as a 6 or 7 foot tall, dark humanoid figure with wings and bright red glowing eyes. This legend began November 1966 in Clendenin, West Virginia. The story goes that 5 men were at their local cemetery preparing a grave for burial. Then, all of a sudden, something that looked like a brown human being lifted off from some nearby trees and flew over their heads. The men were shocked. It did not appear to be a bird, but more like a man with wings. And then, a few days later, sightings kept taking place with stories spreading around the entire region. While it has been spotted all over West Virginia, its main habitat seems to be Point Pleasant. Specifically in an area locals call the TNT area, where there have been hundreds of sightings. So now in Point Pleasant, there is a Mothman statue, Mothman Museum, and Mothman Festival. And honestly, that's just fun hype, and I want to go. So bad. But here's another man creature cryptid at number 5, Dogman. So Dogman or Dogmen is an umbrella term for an upright canine cryptid. They are mainly found stalking North American woods, as you can see by this map of reported sightings. So some describe another version of a Dogman, sometimes called a Type 3, a Sasquatch looking creature with the face of a dog. So here's one story that is similar to how many sightings of a Dogman or Dogmen go down. A man and his mom were sitting on their porch that faces an alley when it got eerily quiet. They turned their attention to where a trash can had fallen over. They thought they saw just a big dog, but it got up on its hind legs. Its height was taller than the security fence their neighbors put up. His mom went inside and he backed away slowly into his house. Now he says he won't walk anywhere at night alone. While there is a large sum of people who have reported sightings where they said they felt frightened, few sightings have resulted in actual attack or harm. And that being said, if you come across a Dogman and feel frightened, like you could be attacked, just walk away, because you just don't want to risk it. Honestly, no. And so yeah, we talked about Dogman, so we need to talk about number 4. Goatman. He is described as half goat and half human, as the name suggests. Goatman walks on 2 legs and is 7 feet tall. I feel like a lot of these are 7 feet tall or 7 feet long. Just saying. So the story goes that a scientist was experimenting on ghosts until one experiment backfired. Then he was mutated, becoming goat-like himself. He then began attacking cars with an axe, roaming the back roads of Beltsville, Maryland. He has been blamed for the deaths of countless hikers. In 1962, Goatman allegedly slaughtered 14 hikers after they went too close to his hideout. It was written, he chopped his victims to pieces while emitting screams that only the devil himself would make. Now people believe he hides out under an old bridge, waiting for his next victim. At number 3, Altamahaha. The Altamahaha is also called Alti. It is said that it was discovered by the Tama native tribe before the British English colonization. The existence of Alti has been recognized by Native Americans for centuries. It is described as 20 to 30 feet long, with a sturgeon-like body and a bony ridge on its top. Its color is gray with a whitish yellow underbelly, but it can be shown to be green. This may be for camouflaging reasons. It has front flippers but no back limbs, and it has large protruding eyes and large sharp teeth. Apparently it swims like a dolphin but has the snout of a crocodile and big bug eyes. Basically. It's located in small streams and abandoned rice fields near the Altamaha River. So it has not been said to be explicitly dangerous, but don't go near it if you see one. If it has the face of a crocodile, you can bet it has the bite of one too. And with those, you just punch it in the nose. Or like plug its nose and it can't breathe and then you'll be let go. Just tips, pro tips. for crocodiles. On to number 2, the orang pendek. So the orang pendek is a mysterious ape of Sumatra, an island of western Indonesia. In the Indonesian language, orang pendek translates to short person. So it could possibly be a homogeneous, and it's believed to be an undiscovered kind of primate species, possibly. It is most commonly described by those who have seen it as a bipedal creature that stands from 2.5 to 5 feet tall. They are covered in golden, brown, or gray hair and have similar mannerisms to humans. Different than monkeys, they are also said to have human-like facial features. Witnesses have also claimed to see them ripping apart logs, akin to Captain America ripping one up. That's only what I think, it could just be ripping up that way. But let's go on, last but not least, number 1, slide rock bolter. So the slide rock bolter is a huge cryptid that allegedly lives in the mountains of Colorado. It has a huge head, small eyes, and a gaping mouth. It is said to look similar to a whale, with a flared tail that has enormous grabbing hooks at the end. So it was reportedly seen around the late 19th and into the 20th centuries as a popular tale among lumberjacks and miners. Also, it only lives where the slope is more than a 45-degree angle, where it hides and waits for its prey. I'm guessing it uses this angle to be able to slide towards them, as it will sit and wait until unsuspecting tourists walk by, and then it unlocks its claws and just slides towards them. Due to its size, it's said to be able to eat whole parties of tourists in just one fell swoop. Once it has caught its prey, it apparently uses its tail claws to climb back up the mountain and then rest again, waiting for the next victim. Now, skeptics say it may be a drunken lumberjack's explanation for a rock slide, but believers say it may have taken on more of a rocky look to camouflage itself nowadays, as big divots in Colorado mountains say, ooh, maybe it's there and it was sliding, eating the prey.
Coming in number 10, we have Don't Call Jim Everett Chris. So Jim Rome had a long running joke of calling St. Louis Rams quarterback Jim Everett Chris Everett. I don't know how this joke got started, but the thing is that Jim Everett hated this, and eventually they're both in the same room together for an interview. Jim Rome sticks to the bit and decides that he would call Jim Everett Chris to his face. Well, Jim lets him know that he better stop doing that, and that's going to be the last time he says that to him. Jim Rome takes him up on this challenge and calls him Chris right to his face. And then we get this.
I think that you probably won't say it again. I bet I do. Okay. Chris?
Now, the quarterback isn't the most menacing player on the field, but any professional athlete is usually the size of a truck, and you can see how easy it is for Jim Everett to throw Jim Rome to the ground. Rome should be counting his lucky stars that his producer was there to break it up, because I think Everett would have crushed his head in his hands like he was squeezing a nectarine.
At number 9, Tizaruk. So the Tizaruk is a sea serpent found in Alaskan folklore that roams Alaska's waters. It's described as 7 feet long with the tail ending in a flipper. The total length is about 12 to 15 feet long. It's also called a Cadborosaurus from one academic suggestion. This led to the nickname caddy being given to the sea serpent that's occasionally spotted. It's been said to snatch people from docks and piers. So a video came out in 2009 claiming that it was a Tizaruk, but some say it was a herd of sea lions. Mysterious sea serpents are rumored all around the world, shout out to Nessie, and I think caddy is believable. As recently as 2016, a new species of whale was discovered in Alaska's waters, so really we can't rule out the existence of something else out there. So Tizaruk, caddy, whatever you call it, Alaska might have it for you. Maybe go take a peek. Hit up Alaska. Why not?
Coming in at number 8, we have Alexi Lawless has had enough. Alexi Lawless is one of the great American soccer players. That's a sentence you don't really hear every day. Well, one fine day he's doing some sports broadcasting about the current American national team, and he went on a long rant about how much these guys suck.
Better. Josie Altidore. Is this really as good as it gets? Because it's still not good enough. Bruce Arena. Bruce, Jurgen Klinsmann lost at home to Mexico. You lost at home to Costa Rica.
That is just a small chunk of it. As you can see, he's going through a ton of players, naming them by name and breaking down why they suck and how they need to be better. I mean, he's really trying to make these guys play harder. Later on in that rant, he calls them soft, overpaid millionaires. He really wanted to send the message home that he thinks all of these guys suck at soccer. Coming in at number 7, we have Charles Blow has had enough from Kayleigh McEnany. There's definitely a boiling point when it comes to politics. People will put up with the other side's rhetoric for only so long before they start to clap back and pull them down. Charles Blow is sitting next to Kayleigh McEnany, and the two of them sit on opposing sides when it comes to politics. Kayleigh starts talking to Charles and touches him, and he responds with, "Don't touch me." Kayleigh goes on to say, "Sorry, I didn't know I wasn't allowed to touch you," and then says, "I don't know if you feel like an American, but we have to work together as Americans." and Charles says, "Excuse me?" And then we get this clip.
American? Maybe I don't believe that I'm American. Don't do that.
You said I'm not even allowed to touch you.
No,
That is just like what Maxine Waters said.
No, you're not.
That's very sad.
Right.
Yeah, the dude wasn't going to have that string bean tell him he's not an American. He went off on her, and I got to give it to him because that is some of the best finger waving I have ever seen in my life. Coming in number 6, we have Bill Maher gets heckled. Bill Maher has had a political talk show for some time now, and it's no surprise that having a show about politics has ruffled some feathers in the past. Maher has had his share of death threats, angry tweets, and everything else that people have tried to do to come bring the dude down. Well, on his show he had an angry outburst.
Anyway, you have good friends.
Tell us what happened in Philly 7, Bill.
That one's not mine.
A group of conspiracy theorists decided that they would get into the audience of a show and start yelling stuff that no one who was watching the show could really make out, so I'm not sure how much this message was worth. Now, the clip I just showed you was after they already had kicked out 2 people, one of which Maher had to kick out himself because it took so long for security to get there. Well, these people wanted to get the message across about how the government is lying to them, but all that really came across was some crazy faceless people were really angry, just like any other day in America. Coming in number 5, we have Boomer Goes Boom. Chris Berman, also known as Boomer, has been working with the NFL since before I can remember, so it should be no surprise that the dude has had a bad day. We have all had bad days in the past. Eventually everything is going to catch up with you. Right before Boomer was set to go live, there were people running all over set, ducking under the camera and swooping in and out of the background. Obviously, you have to be very focused to give everyone their football news. This can be distracting, and it turns out that this dude had enough.
Can't everybody stop for 10 minutes? I mean, everybody seems that's the only... Everybody can we stick... Jesus Christ. I mean, it's not that much to ask. Is that when everybody has to move when I'm trying to concentrate?
He erupts on camera, but I kinda get it. This man is trying to do his job. Some people might see him as some sort of a diva, but really, are you a diva if you just need people to stop running underneath the camera so you can focus on your take? Come on, guys. Coming in at number 4, we have Delor Explodes. Delor used to be a very prominent player in the Overwatch community. He had a pretty huge following and was playing with the Toronto Overwatch team. It seems that he should have had a great career as a streamer and a gamer, but he threw that all away when he was having a very rough game. He was playing against a team that had a Widowmaker who was an ace shot. For those of you who don't know, Widowmaker is a sniper, so if someone is skilled with her, they can really shut down the enemy team. Delor was on the receiving end of this for quite a bit, and it eventually got to the point where he exploded. I'm going to play you a clip of what his team heard. I will tell you in advance that this clip is bleeped out because we can't play that on this channel, but I want to play it for you so you can see how long it is. Now, what's the big deal? He was only swearing, right? Well, it was because he was just saying the N-word over and over and over again. Now, this was about 4 years ago, and since then Delor has come forward and said that he was addicted to drugs at the time and has gone through a lot to try and rehabilitate himself. Coming in number 3, we have We'll Do It Live. This is one of the most famous Bill O'Reilly freakouts. He doesn't get quite what he's supposed to say because the teleprompter isn't working, and then he freaks out like this.
Okay. We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live! Fuck it! Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live! Fucking thing sucks!
Yeah, when you see him like that, it makes no surprise to find out that he was a dirtbag. Coming in number 2, we have Conor McGregor snaps. There's no shortage of clips of Conor McGregor freaking out and trying to attack someone. It seems like the man starts a fight no matter where he is in the world. Well, during a pre-fight press conference before the UFC where Conor McGregor was set to fight Eddie Alvarez, he had a freakout that looked like he was going to run right through Dana White. This was before Conor was the lightweight champ, and what happened was he showed up to the conference late. He walks over to the current champ, takes the belt off his table, so Eddie Alvarez tosses a chair at him, not very aggressively, like he literally just kind of tosses it, and then we get this. I thought they were going to push the pay-per-view event right up to that moment. After that, the two of them scream at each other for a little bit, but no one really gets hurt. That's not until they actually fight and Conor knocks out Eddie in the first round to take the lightweight title. Then someone got hurt. Coming in at the number 1 spot, we have Mike Tyson comes for Lennox Lewis. This has to be one of the most famous public freakouts of all time. It was the live press conference that was set up to promote one of the big last boxing heavyweight matches. The current champ, Lennox Lewis, was to take on the challenger who was making his rise back to the top, Mike Tyson. Well, it turns out that Tyson Tyson couldn't wait until fight night to get his hands on Lennox Lewis and went straight for the dude. This turned into all-out chaos, with each side having their entourage jump in to try and separate everyone from what was going on. Everyone rushes the stage and the whole thing looks like a swarm of bees bouncing off each other. It's followed by one of the most famous rants that Tyson has ever given in his life. I would love to play that clip for you guys here, but there is way too much swearing and slurs in it for me to show you guys, so you'll just have to imagine in your mind what it looks like to have a furious Mike Tyson yelling obscenities at you.